Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Man Cave. Don't have a whole lot today. I'm not going to show any more guitars today. There's quite a few left, but doesn't seem like that's going over all that well. And, you know, a number of people are saying that the prices are too high, and they may be. I don't know. They don't seem like it to me. They seem like they would be low even. Like that Martin guitar, it's over 50 years old and looks like it's brand new. And to me, I wasn't anywhere near the top sales price. A couple $1,000s below that, in fact. So I don't know. They seem like they're fair prices to me, but doesn't seem like it's working out. So I don't know. We'll just have to back up and punt and see what else happens. In terms of the Polaris Ranger, well, it's fixable, and I'm planning to fix it, but more things have happened or surfaced. So take a look at this. Yesterday, I took this outside and, or I should say yesterday evening, and pressure washed it. Really tried to get all the dirt and grease off of it as best I could. I know there's some places that are kind of rusty, this being one of them. And so I'm going to take a little paint and just cover these rusty spots mainly. I'm not going to try to make everything perfect, but you know, give it a little bit extra protection if I can. So here we go. What I'll do is I'll let this dry and come back and touch it up again. So that looks pretty good, but I'll do it again later. Give that a half hour to dry or so, and then I'll put another coat on there. The friends, I'm trying to check continuity of this burned out wires here. This plug, boy, it's bad. Back to under here, where they terminate to the regulator, I think. And I get some continuity, but I don't know what I'm supposed to get. All right, I'm on the far right pin here. Now, if I touch it together, can you hear that little beep? But I can hear the beep, even if you can't. So, if I get it on that first pin and touch this first one over here, maybe you can hear that. If I touch the second one, nothing. Third one, nothing. Fourth one, nothing. Okay, so I'm going to move it to the second hole at the regulator. And I'm going to touch the first pin. And the first pin hits on the second hole also, which is weird. It doesn't hit on the second pin. It doesn't hit on the third pin or the fourth pin. I don't know what to think of that. Now I'm going to go to the third one. And I'm not getting anything at all. And the fourth one. So I don't know what to make of that. That's kind of crazy. So in other words, this first pin connects to the first and second holes of the other pin over there. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know what to think about this. I guess I'm just gonna have to cut this plug off, because who knows how this plug is messed up as it is. It might be shorting something out. I'm gonna have to replace this anyway, so I might as well just cut these off, test it that way. But I guess I better leave a little bit so I can tell which one went where. Although these two look the same to me. These two middle ones, it's like they're all the same, you know? Well, I asked Grok, I said, do these wires carry all the way up to the regulator or whatever that thing's called? And it answered, yes, they do. And there should be 3 yellow wires, and I guess that's these 3. And then there's I don't know, none of the other ones that I've seen online or anything have this 4th wire. And that's the only one that's making connection up to the front. It's just, I never have the same thing that anybody else has. And that's just the truth. Mine never matches anybody else's. It just is exactly 100% true. So, I don't know what I'm going to do about that. But I guess, I know this ain't no good, so can I pull these wires out of here? I don't know if they'll come out. They don't seem like they're going to come out. I'm going to cut them with just a little bit left in here so I can tell which one goes where and give myself the most room. I really like these Tesman strippers. They sent these to me, and you know, I haven't used them in quite a long time, I'll be honest. I haven't been doing much electrical work, but when they sent them to me originally, I really did like these. I've used a lot of these over the years, and some of them are good and some of them are not. These happen to be pretty good. Yeah, see there, stripped that wire right off there, no problem at all. Try another one here. That one didn't grab, I'll be honest. Oh, I think it's because this wire's been burnt. It's bad. I'm pretty sure that's why. Pretty sure that's why. Yeah, I think these wires are burnt here. That's why that one's so dark. Yeah, it's not working. These wires are burnt really bad. In fact, I can't pull it off there. It's cut, but I can't pull it off there. These wires are fried. I probably need all new wires. Doggone it. I didn't really want to hear myself say that, but I think I probably do need all new wires. These suckers are bad shape. Yeah, the only one that pulled off was that ground wire. See this? I can't even pull that off with these. I mean, so I can't fault the Tesmans for this. I can't even pull it off with this, and I'm pulling hard. Oh my gosh, I got it off. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that just confirms that these wires are really badly burned. I probably need all new wires all the way to the front. I'm going to check the resistance. They said the resistance should be 0.2 to 0.6. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Probably not. It's 0.2 on that one. So that, like I said, that ground wire I don't think is bad. 0.3 now. Can we get anything on this one? Nothing. 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 That was to the ground, I guess. Let me try the second one here and see if I get anything on any of the wires. On the first one, I get 0.2 again. That's the ground. Nothing. 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 Open line. So, pretty sure I gotta put all new wires all the way to the front. That ain't gonna be easy. Have you ever heard it's not easy being me? Well, it sure ain't right now, I can tell you. I have to take this whole skid plate off. Yes, I can see the wires. How much fun is that? I think I'm going to have to jack this thing up so I can get under here easier because it's just a little low. Now all I have to do is pull myself up. It ain't no biggie. Oh my gosh. Well, the skid plate's off and I can see the wires going through there now, so I guess it was worth it. Well, it just keeps getting worse. This is the stator wires here. This plug looks fine, but this is the other side of the regulator, and it's burned up too. It's really badly burned up. Yeah, it just keeps getting worse. I don't know what to do. Doggone it. I wish I could just get rid of all of that mess, that stator and this regulator. I just wish it wouldn't be necessary, but obviously it is. Yeah, so those first wires I was testing, that was where it would have plugged into the one that you could see on camera. That's where it would have plugged into the stator. And the stator is the thing that sits right under the flywheel, and the flywheel's got magnets in it, and it spins around that, and it creates an electrical current. There's 3 yellow wires that come out of that, and they go into that plug that I was testing there. Well, the only one that seemed to be working was the ground wire, and I guess it's the only one that didn't have any real current flowing on it. I guess that's a ground wire. I don't know what else it would be, a neutral or ground or something. But the 3 yellow wires, they're the ones that carry the AC voltage. All 3 of them carry AC voltage, and then it goes through, I guess, a regulator inverter type deal, and it converts it to DC power so that it can charge the battery. Well, anyway, that plug that I was checking there, and it was just, the whole plug was just melted. In fact, it had a hole all the way through it, and the wires were melted into the plug, and yeah, it wasn't coming apart or anything. And even if you had the right tool to take it apart, it wouldn't have made any difference. In fact, I didn't care if I took it apart anyway, because I don't have a plug like that to replace it with, and haven't been able to find one online. I can find them for 3 wires, but not any of them for 4 wires like mine are. It just never quits. I never have anything match anything. It just seems like you couldn't possibly always have that problem, but I always do. So anyway, I'm just gonna. Then I went over to the regulator side, which the 4 that I said was still good. That's the other end of the stator. In other words, the stator wire runs all the way through there, and then those same 4 wires, the 3 yellows and the brown, would plug into that 4 plug. And well, on that side of the regulator, those wires were good. But then coming out of the regulator, that other 3 wires, it's melted all to pieces. I don't know where those go, but I'm assuming they go back up to the battery, or to something like that, I guess. Something in the battery area, but you can't. That's the other thing. If the wires were just laid out on the table where you could see them, it'd be no problem. I could fix it in 5 minutes. But that's not how it works. It's all fished back through all that junk, and you can't see anything. And you can't pull them out. They're all stuck up in there, and then every one of them's got a different kind of wire clip or tie to it. And I'm not kidding you about that either. Every one of them's different. You think, well, okay, this, you just unsnap it, you pull that little lever. The next one ain't like that. The next one's sideways. It goes, they clip sideways, literally. Not most of them are over the top, I'm not kidding you. Every one of them's different. It's hard to explain. Never seen anything like it. It's the biggest mess you ever got into. So my idea was I'll just buy a whole new wiring harness. So I called the local dealer here, which I told you I don't even like to deal with them, but I called them just to see what a wiring harness would cost. And I give him all the details. He's looking online there or whatever on his equipment, whatever he's using. And he takes him a while, and he comes back and says, oh, sorry, that's been discontinued. We don't have that. I said, okay, fine. So then I start searching. Grok tells me the part number, and I asked Grok a bunch of questions about this, and Grok comes back with the part number and says, here's the part number, and so I search on the part number. Well, I can find them used on eBay, and they look a whole lot like mine, but those are really, the used ones are pretty crummy looking. So it's hard to tell if they're going to be any good, and they're $300, I think I found one for $150, but it looked like it was worse than mine. So I thought, no, ain't no point in buying that. And then I did find, actually, apparently in some warehouses, 2 or 3 that are still in stock, and of new ones, but they're $1,000. I mean, $899, so $900 was the cheapest one like that, and over $1,000 for the most expensive one. So, and really all I need is 8 wires. I have to run them, of course, but I think I'm just going to run 8 wires for $1,000. I'm pretty sure I can do that a little cheaper, even though I'll have to cut the plug off of the brand new stator, the brand new regulator and all that, and just wire them in hardwire. It's better than spending $1,000 for, and that's not just the end of the problem. After you spend the $1,000, buy the whole wiring harness, then you got to run it through all that mess, and that ain't easy to do either. I think it's easier to run 8 wires by independently than it would be to try to get that whole wiring harness in and out, or out and back in, I should say. So it's a mess. It really is. And like I said, I know everybody says, just buy a new one, Well, I don't have $20,000, and really that's what it takes. And, selling this one, what could I get for it? $500 if I could get that. They do sell high when they're running. I mean, even mine right now, if I get it back up in, reasonable shape, I could probably sell it for $4,000 or $5,000. I mean, they really do sell high. But, that seems high to me. But then when you go buy a new one, that isn't very much. Oh, well, stuff happens. I'll get it fixed eventually. It's just going to take a little longer than I was planning on. Anyway, David Tharp says, howdy everybody. If you boil a funny bone, does it become a laughing stock? Could be. I did get that one. Let's see. Joe Cool. Let's see. Is there Bill Rhodes? Ronald Todd says, good afternoon from the West Banks of New Jersey. Brian Byler. David Tharp says, ever wanted to go back in time? You can this Sunday. Set your clocks back an hour. Don't be late for church. There you go. Richard Herbranson. Hi, Jerry. Make sure you tighten the flywheel retaining nut really good. It may have been loose, caused the key to break. Well, I totally get that, Richard. I really do. And it had been on there for, no telling how many years, probably 5-6 years as it was. So it wasn't loose, I don't think. It just one of them deals. Let's see. There, Dottie's praying for us. Thank you, Dottie. Dottie, I'll do a gospel song for you this evening. I've already got most of the songs picked out that I'm planning to do this evening, I think. I'm going to do Colleen Malone, Highway 40 Blues, If We Make It Through December, Redwood Hill. Those are all super challenge songs. Every one of those, they pretty much have, each one of those has most all the chords. So I'm planning to do those 4, and I don't know if there's a request or 2 and I can fit them in, I'll do that, but I probably won't have much time to do too many more, maybe 2. Leon's coming tonight, the banjo player. I've invited the fiddle player, Tony, again, so he'll be here. So we're going to have a full house. Beverly should be here. Don will be here on the bass, and then Gary will be here on guitar also. So should be a good time. We'll have really a good jam this evening with the whole full crew here. David Thorpe says, when my oldest was born, the doctor came in and said, "Hi, I'm Doc Griffin. I'll be delivering the baby." I read this one while we were watching the video. He says, I said, "Thanks, but I prefer a baby with a liver." Yeah, I get it. Deliver. Okay, let's see. After we went live, Bill Mumbo's there. Thumbs up, everybody, if you would. That helps. Bill Webb says, good afternoon, Jerry and friends. Sorry I missed yesterday, but I sent Ramona to represent. Yep, we saw her. I figured it was probably you using her username, so, but it wasn't. It was her. Pete Repeat says, hi, Jerry and gang, and I know he's from Australia. That's cool. Let's see. David Thorpe says, what works better than a calculator? Now. You're sick, David. You're just sick. Let's see. Gino Hitch. Hi, Jerry and friends. Cold and wet here in Monroe, Ohio. How's the Polaris doing? Well, in some ways it's doing much better, and in other ways it's not doing too good at all. I don't know what the rest of you would do, but I think it's probably better just to run the 4 wires than to spend $1,000 for a brand new wiring harness. And with my luck, it won't match my exact model anyway. Like I'm telling you, my model is a unique one. It's unique. It really is. I don't think there was more than 5 of them made. That's the way it seems. I have never seen anybody that has the exact same stuff that I have on mine. Oh, by the way, on the, when I was trying to explain yesterday I was wanting to check the mechanical timing, meaning the gears and all that. Well, I couldn't figure out a way to, I know how to get it to top dead center just physically. I know how to do that, but I didn't see any timing marks and stuff for setting the valves, And so I asked Grok about it, and Grok says, there is no adjustment on the valves on this machine. And I'm going, so I asked the question a different way. It comes back, says, you have hydraulic lifters. There's no need to adjust the valves. So then I checked just on the engine number. I didn't type anything else in. I just typed in that engine number and into Grok, and it comes back and it explains that whole engine, and it says, and it has hydraulic lifters. Never, you don't have to set any gap or anything on those lifters. On those valves. It's all automatic apparently, so I don't have to deal with that. But so there's some good things. It's a mess. I'm telling you, it's a mess. It's like that on everything I do, and I'm not kidding you. If you think I'm kidding, you just don't understand. It truly is that way. But in this case, that's good, I guess. David Thorpe, at the restaurant, the waiter asked me how I liked the fish. I said, it's a little dry. He says, well, we had to take it out of the water. Yeah, I guess I get that too. I see when there's no question marks, but that back at your homestead says Zippo is the answer. You mean like a lighter just to burn it up? Is that what you're talking about? If you do want me to read your comment, be sure to put question marks in front of it there. That's the ones I try to read. But there's another one from the same fellow that says, here's a key to remove all the connectors. Several different, and definitely I know about that, and I know how to remove, but it won't do any good to remove those because, I'm not going to be able to find a connector that matches it, and, it would have to match because the new Stator will have that on it. So it ain't worth even dealing with. I just cut them off. But I do know about the tool that takes those connectors apart. But what I just don't get is why every single connector I mean, like you never find 2 or 3 in a row that are the same. They're all different. I mean, like one will come apart one way, then another one will come apart a totally different way, and another one connects a totally different way. It's a mess. Why can't we have a few things standardized in the United States? I mean, it wouldn't hurt at all if just a couple things were standard. Bill Webb, still loving the guitar, playing it almost every day. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. And it scrolled on me there, and then Pete Repeat says, does the Polaris have a winch? If it does, winch the front of it up over a rafter to give you some. Well, there are no rafters, unfortunately. It's a tin roof inside there. There's nothing to connect it to. But I have a floor jack. I just raised it up and put the wheels on a couple of wooden blocks and left the jack under it just in case. But yeah, I've got plenty of room now. But anyway, it's the real problem is it's just crammed so tight and so full of everything. And like I said, all the connectors are up inside there, and you can't see them. You can't reach them to disconnect. It's just a mess. So that's why I think I'm just electing to just run 8 separate new wires. I'll just put them in one of them little wire tubes and run it up there myself and hardwire each one of them in. And I think I'll be way ahead in the long run. That's what I think. Even though that's going to be a pain too. David Tharp says, after 3.5 years of hard work, I'm proud to announce I've finally finished my first novel. I might start reading another one tomorrow. Well, I could probably beat you a lot on that one. After 25 years, I finished my first novel. It takes me forever to read something like that. Paul Akers says, buy a Yamaha, the best no hide glue in them. The best, no hide glue in them. Okay, I got you. Let's see. I don't know that too many with as much work as that one's done, and I'm seriously telling you, you have no clue how much work that thing's done. I have hauled, I bet, a mountain of firewood with that thing, number one. I'm not kidding you about this. You'll probably think I'm way exaggerating, but I bet you out in my field out here, I bet you if you stacked it as high as you could stack it, I'm talking just in a dump. If you had some way to dump it, I'll bet, and just let it fan out, I'll bet the pile would be close to 100 feet high. I'm not kidding you. That's how much firewood I've hauled with that thing. You would not believe it. That thing gets used every single day since 2009. I doubt there's been more than 2 or 3 days in a row where it wasn't used, other than like if Sue and I were gone on a vacation or something, and that's not that often. I mean, that thing's been used like you have no idea, and it's still holding together. So to me, I can't say it's been bad. It's been pretty good. But yeah, anyway, it just is what it is, and I'll fix it back up, and I know how to do all that. It just takes time, just effort. Doesn't take that much money if you do it yourself. And if I took that to a dealer, you can't even walk in the dealer for less than $1,000, and by the time you get out of there, you're $4,000 or $5,000, and maybe more than that. David Tharp, I threw a ball for my dog. I know it was a little extravagant, but he looks amazing in a tuxedo. I did get that one too. Threw a ball for him, huh? You and Trump with the new ballroom. Let's see. Bill Mumbo says your Stator 13 or Stator 1-3 phase, is it wired Y or Delta configuration? I've heard of that. I know roughly about Y and Delta, but I don't know the specifics on that. I'll have to figure it all out before I get into it. I mean, I only know enough to be dangerous on what you're asking there. I barely know anything about that. Let's see. What works better than a calculator? A CalcuNow. Okay. Let's see. Michael Love, a Amazon search, 4-pin connector, waterproof connector, male and female, 4-way 16 AG wire. Let's see, this has 14 wire. AG wire, so it's bigger wire than that is. Suitable for car, truck, boat. So I'm not saying you can't get one. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can't get one that matches that one. That's what I'm saying. You know, because you got to understand, I'm going to get the new Stator will be here tomorrow. The new Stator will be here, and it's going to have a matching plug on there that matches the plug that I just cut off. Well, I don't have any way to get a plug that's going to match that Stator, so I'm just going to have to cut it off the Stator and just hardwire it. That's the only option I'll have. I actually do have a bunch of those connectors like that, too, that you're talking about. I bought a whole box of them, and none of them looked like they were heavy enough to do the job that I have. So I just decided to skip that idea and I'll just hardwire each one of them in. And it is 14 gauge wire, so it's a heavier wire too. Let's see. Gino Hitch says, how about Peace in the Valley tonight? I don't know if anybody does that one. I'll ask them. I'll write it down. Gino Hitch. Peace in the Valley. Let's see. Done nice. Jerry, how about your new Mirror song? Okay, I'll add that one in there. And that was done nice. Okay. Okay, so I got that one down. Let's see. David Thorpe says, kids today are spoiled. When I was a kid, my dinner consisted of 2 choices. Take it or leave it. That's pretty much the way it was for me, too. And unfortunately, mine, I didn't have the option to leave it most of the time. I mostly had to eat it because my dad would make me. And even the green stuff, which, as you know, I can't eat that stuff. And he would force it down me. And he couldn't understand why I'd get sick later and throw up and everything else. But he just didn't get it. Stuff happens. I'd have to sit there, or I'd just, as I got older, he'd just make me sit there till I went to bed. And so I'd sit there from dinner time till bedtime. He was very strong-minded. He would not give up on anything. Never gave in ever. Wade Hampton, Jerry and friends, today is my 3-week post-operative day from a total knee replacement. It was my second one, and I'm very grateful that I don't have any more knees to be replaced. I could believe on that. Now, I could certainly understand that. I hope it's not too painful for you. I hope you're doing really well with it. Like I said, those kinds of things usually go one or two ways. They either go really, really good or really, really bad. There's hardly anything in between on most of those. Joseph Supley, did you know if you put a pair of socks and shoes on a bear, it would still have bare feet? I never, see, that's another one of those things. Now I have to think about that. Let's see. Diane Craver, can you get a 4-wire male and female connector at an automotive part? Yeah, I can. They just don't match what's there. They don't match on, it's just, if you understand my point, it's hard to explain, but it'd be like taking your 2-wire lamp or like a 3-wire cord and trying to plug it into one of those old 2-wire outlets. It won't go in there, and I can get and replace them both on both ends, but if I got to replace them both, I might as well just hardwire them in. It's not much different, really. But it doesn't really make much difference. I mean, I know how to do it. I can do it one way or the other way. I can do it either with connectors or without. But my point is, I can't find anything that matches what's coming on the part that's coming. There's no way to find one that's going to match that. Not that I know about anyway. Richard Herbranson, I agree that you should run your own wires on the Polaris. Will be much simpler. Yep, I just think so, because there's almost no other option. But even that's not an easy option. It's not at all. It would be simple if it was simple. And that sounds stupid, and it sounds redundant, but that's exactly what I mean. If there was a tunnel through there where you could get the wires through, it'd be a piece of cake. There ain't. And it ain't no simple way through there at all. It's a pain in the neck. I'm seriously telling you, it's a pain in the neck. Obviously they make these things on an assembly line, and there's a specific point in time where you can get that wiring harness in there. And after that point in time, not so much. Yeah, that's exactly the way it is. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not, but if you've ever worked on an assembly line, you probably would understand that. I never have, but I pretty much can visualize it. Charlie Bryson, Jerry, have you heard the song "It Ain't Easy Being Me"? No, I haven't. I've had a lot of people ask me to write one like that, but I haven't done it yet. Wavy Gravy, my neighbor's dog is an Australian sheepdog. He's very smart but very lazy. Instead of chasing cars, he just stands on the corner and writes down their license plate numbers. Boy, I tell you, lazy dog like that. Thumbs up, y'all, says David Tharp. So if you would do that, I'd appreciate it. Well, I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot more this afternoon. I'm just going to get ready for the show this evening and call that my work for this evening. And then maybe tomorrow morning, I'm going to have to go to the store, I think, to get some more wire. I don't think I have quite enough wire to do all the wiring I'm going to need to do. And I'll stop at the auto parts. If they have some good heavy-duty plugs, I might use plugs on ends of the wires I'm going to run, but they'll be different from the ones that come on that stator, so I'll still have to cut the wires off the stator and then plug them into my new plugs if I do it that way. Otherwise, I'll just individually wire each wire. I don't see as it makes a whole lot of difference, to be honest with you. But anyway, just not a fun thing. David says, if the Erie keeps burning up, must be a really bad engineering design. I don't know what that, it must be the, well, then it went away. Yeah, I don't think it was a great design on the wiring on this particular machine. But you got to remember, again, this machine, I'm pretty sure, was just a one-off type machine. It really, I don't mean one-off as in it's the only one, but I do mean it was a very limited number of machines that were made this way. They were in a model change or something, and I guess they wanted to keep production going, and they just threw these parts together on this specific machine. Because all the ones before it are different, and all the ones after it are different, you know. So it's, like I said, it's just my typical luck. You go into the Polaris dealer, and that's what you end up with. If the wires keep burning up, it must be a really bad design. Needs heavier wire. Well, yeah, I don't even know if that's the problem. I don't know if it's that or if it's... yeah, maybe it needs heavier wire. I don't know. Maybe I'll just get number 12. That might even be a good idea instead of 14, you know. But I don't know. I truly don't know what caused the first time it went out. But all I know is it's burned out a couple of times since then, and I've given up on that, and I just went to the solar charger. What's weird is I guess it never did burn up the part of the stator that sends the spark to the spark plug. Apparently that part kept working. otherwise, I don't know how to explain the fact that it's been running for 4 or 5 years just on the solar power alone, because it definitely is not charging the battery from that, or it hasn't been, is what I mean, for the last several years. I can't explain it. Wavy Gravy says, over my lifetime, I've encountered quite a few people who aren't wired up right. I'm one. I'm definitely one. Let's see. Hi, Jerry and friends. The plug should have been fused. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I don't know how to explain all that either. I just don't know how to explain it. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for now. We will see you this evening at about 7 o'clock. And like I said, this should be a really good show tonight, because I hate to say that, because then you know something's going to happen. But you know my point. With the quality of the musicians that are going to be here this evening, it ought to be good. We'll see you at 7 o'clock. Be there or be square. Take care.